Hey bag ladies and bag dudes, today I'm going to be talking about the hot ruler, the rail fence quilt pattern, Tim Holtz fabrics, a leather workshop that I took today. The book review will be for the book Pot Holders for All Seasons. I'll be demonstrating how to add a key tab to the inside of any bag, and there's a great giveaway at the end. I'm Sarah Lawson from Sew Sweetness. Thanks so much for joining me for Sewcial Sunday, my weekly sewing chat. Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining me on this lovely Sunday, or I suppose Monday morning or afternoon if you're in another part of the world. Hi to Jean from Oklahoma. Hi to Lottie. I'm going to guess Lottie maybe from Florida. Connie's watching from Idaho. So thanks everybody so much for joining me for Sewcial Sunday. Before I get started, just a friendly reminder, nearly everything that I talk about during Sewcial Sunday are things that I've purchased myself. So these are not things that I'm getting paid to talk to you about, but just cool things that I found that I'd like to share with you. And also everything that I'm scheduled to talk about, I link to in the description. So if you're interested in finding out more about any of the notions, fabrics, books, or projects that I talk about during Sewcial Sunday, just check that link in the description and you can find out more information that way. So before we get started with the first topic, the notion of the week, I have a few things to remind you about or tell you about. This week coming up is the final week of the ... bag sew along. That's being hosted by Michelle Graham and Bronwyn in the Facebook group. If you haven't joined in yet, it's not too late to join in. Everyone's making the small version of the ... bag. So the link is in the description for that. Week 3 is starting tomorrow. So if you check the link tomorrow morning, the album for week 3 will be posted. If you want to jump in late, the albums are already there for week 1 and week 2. And this is sort of a relatively short sew along just because the small version of the ... bag doesn't have all of the extra zippers that the front of the large version does. So actually, personally, the small version of the ... is my personal favorite. The winner of the ... bag sew along for week 1 is Karen Valdez. So congratulations to you, Karen. Contact me whenever you get a chance and I'll send you over your prize. Congratulations to Karen. And speaking of Karen, but another Karen, I had a workout a few days ago, a personal workout with a personal trainer. Karen, who watches the show, again, a different Karen, emailed me last month in October because she heard me talk about on one of my live shows how my trainer for horseback riding told me that I need to start working out because I'm too weak in certain areas, but especially my core. So Karen emailed me. She told me she's a trainer at a gym and she offered to give me like some personal one-on-one tips, some exercises that I could do at home to help with certain muscles that I need for horseback riding. And so that was this past Thursday. It was awesome. Karen's amazing. She trains at this gym called Lifetime Fitness. It's in a suburb of Chicago, so the suburb is called Schaumburg. And this gym was like, I'm familiar with Target. We don't have any super Targets around here, but this gym is like the super Target of gyms. Like, it was humongous. There were 2 people at the front desk checking people in. It kind of reminded me of like a concierge at a hotel. It was gigantic, and we walked past several rooms where people were having classes. I don't know what the classes were for, maybe kickboxing, things like that. There were so many people in these classes, but anyway, it was amazing. I'm actually trying to, Karen said she would be watching me on my show, so I'm trying to sit here. Normally I would be sitting in my chair kind of like this, more like relaxed. Karen says I need to remember to sit with my core kind of engaged, which means kind of like pushing your belly button in toward, you know, your spine. And with my arms, you know, my body's usually hunched over. Karen said that instead of pushing your shoulders back so far like this so that your shoulder blades feel like really flexed, she said have your shoulders back, but like, you know, kind of like push them down slightly. So I'm trying to sit in my chair with my core engaged and my shoulders in the correct position because this will really help me with horseback riding and also just general posture. And I think it's also a confidence thing. I don't know why, but my first inclination is always to walk around and address people kind of like meek and timid, and I don't know why. I really should walk around more confident because I have nothing to feel embarrassed about, and I should walk around confidently. So anyway, I'm trying to continue keeping good posture and paying attention to my core. Karen also mentioned that she did a class for her guild before about proper stance and posture when you're cutting fabric or when you're sewing. So maybe I can get Karen on one of our live shows in future. But one quick tip when you're sewing, I'm going to slide sideways. Karen said you should sit on the edge of your chair. I know you can't see my chair because I'm sitting behind a desk. She said you should sit on the edge of your chair with your feet straight on the ground and keep your core pushed in when you're at your sewing machine, because we tend to kind of want to hunch over our sewing machines like this. But sitting on the very edge of your chair will kind of almost force you to kind of pull your core in. So that's one thing you can do. Also, when you're cutting fabric, try not to lean over and do something like this. Obviously, stand at a table where you can be comfortably standing up straight and cut more in this position. So anyway, I don't want to steal Karen's thunder, and I'm by no means an expert at any of this, but I really liked Karen's tip about sitting in the chair when you're sewing. Okay, so enough about working out. I also have an address in the description if you're interested. My birthday is coming up on November 28th. I'd love it if you'd be interested in sending me a postcard for my birthday, maybe a postcard where you're from. I know sometimes postcards are not the easiest things to get a hold of. Either a photograph of where you're from or just a plain regular birthday card is completely fine. Again, this is completely optional and just if you want to do it, but the address is in the description if you are interested, and it's for a postal box, and I'll have the postal box open for a few months just in case there's any maybe overseas cards coming that come a little bit late or anything like that. So I really appreciate it, and thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to building a collection of postcards from around the world. All right, so let's get over to the notion of the week. This week I wanted to talk about something that was actually recommended to me by one of the viewers, and I always appreciate getting tips from viewers about new notions especially. This one's made by the company Clover, and it's called the Hot Ruler. So this is what it looks like in the packaging. I'm going to pop over to the side camera and show you what this ruler looks like out of the packaging and how it works. All right, so this is the Hot Ruler. Again, this is what it looks like in the packaging. Let me kickstart my iron and show you how it works. So this is what the product looks like out of the packaging. It kind of reminds me of Peltex interfacing, but a lot thinner than that, and obviously it's got inches on the ruler, and it's also got smaller increments like 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch. And the purpose of this ruler is to be able to use it for turning fabrics while you're pressing. So I had some things that I've been using for the past few years. It's actually I think it's made by Dritz, but it's a hemming guide, and it's made of metal. So the problem with my metal hemming guide is obviously, since it's metal, as soon as it gets hot, the metal gets really hot, and I had a bad habit of burning my finger. So I really appreciate that this is not made of metal. I have a little scrap of fabric here that I prepared, and sometimes in my patterns when making straps or other things like accents, I have you, for instance, measure. So you draw a line 1/2 inch up from the bottom, and I might have you press that line toward the wrong side. So I guess easy enough, but not super exacting. And there's an extra step thrown in there. However, if you use this hot ruler to get that 1/2 inch increment, you can either fold your fabric like this up to that 1/2 inch line, or you can start off at the 1/2 inch line and then sort of flip the fabric back. So again, this is good for straps, accents, if you're hemming a garment. I'm considering making some PJ pants for Violet, and so those will require hems at the bottom. And so even though I've just gone over this with my iron, it's warm, but it's not hot to the touch where I can't touch it. And I feel like it makes a nice crisp ironed line over here. So again, this is the Clover Hot Ruler. I really like it. It's flexible, something I can keep in my sewing room. And I always love a good sewing notion or tool. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that look at the Hot Ruler. Again, links in the description if you're interested in finding out more about that. So Danny's favorite part of the chat, if you'll humor us and either type Bag Lady or Bag Dude in the comments now, go ahead and type that for us. We really love seeing the Bag Lady and Bag Dude comments come through. Super appreciate the supportive bag making community, whether you're commenting in the Facebook group or if you're chipping in on the chats either on YouTube or Facebook every Sunday and Tuesday. We really appreciate you so much, and thank you so much for participating and watching our shows. All right, so I actually sewed something. I sewed something that was not a bag yesterday. So if you've been watching the live show for a while, you may be familiar with a quilt that I started, I don't know, several months ago. So basically I finished this quilt top except for adding the borders. So I added the borders yesterday. The really cool thing about this particular quilt pattern is that the extra cuttings that you have from assembling the quilt makes 2 extra projects, so a mini quilt and a pillow, sort of a body pillow but not as long. So I wanted to show you all 3 projects. So first of all, the quilt pattern is called Spinning Rail Fence. It's available on the Shabby Fabrics website, and I just purchased the pattern. They do have fabric kits available with these exact same fabrics, but I already had these tuliping fabrics in my stash, so of course you knew that I would. Let me first show you the quilt. Again, I just added the borders on it. The rest of the quilt top was finished some time ago. I think I might send this out for quilting just because I'm lazy. I just need to find a long armor. It's been a while since I've had anything long arm just because I don't make quilts very often. So I'll hold up as much as I can for this quilt, and it's kind of rainbow colors kind of gradiating through the quilt. So very happy that I finished this. I love the black borders and the black sashing in this particular quilt. And let me show you the pillow top that I made and the mini quilt. So again, these 2 projects are made with extra clippings from making the blocks for the quilt. So this is super simple. This will be the pillow. And I'm really pleased and delighted with the mini quilt. I just love the bright colors. So let me just stand up a little bit. It's about a 36-inch square quilt. Again, love the black with the bright colors. And I'm gonna quilt the mini quilt myself. I was thinking of actually picking up some Pellon fusible fleece and just fusing the quilt top to the fleece, and then probably spray basting a backing to it, and I should hopefully finish that up pretty quickly. It's a relatively small quilt. But anyway, these 3 projects were in this one pattern, Spinning Rail Fence, and the link is in the description in case you're interested in checking out that quilt pattern, and the instructions for the mini quilt and the pillow are in the same pattern, which is awesome. All right, so the fabric that I've added to my stash this week actually was bad, and I added 3 bundles of fabric to my stash. I don't know where they're gonna go because the sewing room is really jammed up in here. But these are some new Tim Holtz fabrics, and I'm gonna grab the fabrics and pop over to the side camera and show you these. All right, so I didn't purchase the whole fabric line. Oh, trying to find a spot for my iron. I didn't purchase the whole fabric line. I just chose a few of my most favorite prints. And Tim Holtz is big in the scrapbooking world, and I really love text prints, and so I really love his fabrics. So maybe, I'm not sure if Danny could zoom out a little bit just to see the whole portions of the design. So again, text fabric is sort of overlaid on top of this floral print. And I got a few that I think I'll use for lining fabrics. So here's another one that I purchased. Again, these are all new fabrics from Tim Holtz. And I love the text print, and it kind of looks like there was sort of like an old piece of tape maybe attached here. Really cool and old looking. Here's another one. Yeah, these are just really awesome. I could see these making great pouches. I love that they're sort of gender neutral fabrics. Here's another one with some large letters of the alphabet on there. And again, there's the discoloration of kind of simulating some old tape on the fabric, which is really cool. And this one's my absolute favorite out of all the ones that I purchased. I really love the flower prints. I'm not sure what these are supposed to be, maybe ledgers or receipts, which are really cool. And I just love that there's several colors featured in this fabric. There's shades of pink, some aquas, a little bit of yellow from that sort of fake tape overlay. So again, these are prints from Tim Holtz, and there's a link in the description, and that link will take you to a website where you can view some of his older prints as well. He has some recent fabric lines that have come out with Halloween fabrics and also Christmas fabrics. Those are really awesome too. So I have a question for you. Let me know in the comments. Do you like text fabrics? I'm a huge fan of text fabrics. In fact, I'll be showing you another fabric bundle that I recently purchased, maybe next Sunday or the Sunday after, some text fabrics from Zen Chic. So I really love text fabrics. Those Tim Holtz fabrics are really awesome. I like using them in my own personal projects. Sometimes they're hard to photograph just because some of the colors are kind of muted, and actually I'll be showing you a bag a little bit later, a Sloan bag that I made with also Tim Holtz fabrics. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed those, and I'm a huge fan of text fabric. So today Danny, I, and the kids went to a leather workshop in the Chicago area. Our friend is a member of the Prairie State Leather Workers Guild, and the kids and I and Danny got to try out some leather making techniques, just some basic stuff. And I also wanted to show you a project that our friend Heinz made for me. He knows I ride horses, and I'm gonna try to hold this so the glare of the lights does not pick up. There we go. So he made a saddle. I'll show in the overhead as well. So he made a saddle in the leather, a pair of riding boots, and a fence, and then he colored it in and he framed it to himself. I'll show you this in the side camera, and I'll also show you the samples that me and the kids and Danny made at the workshop. Okay, so first of all, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna try to hold this so that the leather is not reflecting off the glass in the picture frame. But the thing I love the most about this is, I know it's leather, but like the saddle looks like a real leather saddle just because of the smooth texture. The background has a bunch of texture. The fence looks like an actual fence, and I love the colors added to it. It's not too much. I just love this scene. I'm going to be hanging it up on the wall in my sewing room. And here's some of the samples that we did since the holidays are coming up. We did little stockings. So here's the one I did. And we used various tools to create different textures. So this texture over here was supposed to simulate sort of like a cottony looking top of a stocking. Here's the one that Danny made. And then William made one with skull and crossbones on it. So we learned different things like making sort of the background shading. Violet made one with a horse on it. And we got to play with all of the different tools, which makes different designs like the grass. Some of the leather stamps made the designs of the horse and the skull and crossbones. And it was just a lot of fun learning how to work with the leather. We did some casing, which means you put a couple layers of water on the leather first before you start working on it to make it easy for accepting of the tools. So it was a lot of fun. I have so much to learn about working with leather, but this gives me ideas for different things that I can do with maybe key fobs, keychains, things like that. And I already have other tools in my sewing room already, like rivets and O-rings and different things that I can combine with working with the leather. So it was really cool, a lot of fun, and I definitely always love learning new things about either sewing or something fabric related. So leather kind of combines certain things in sewing. Most of the time you're working with hand tools as far as stitching, but it's just beautiful, and some of the things that are made with leather are truly works of art. So I have a question for you, another one. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever used real leather in a project before? So I admit I've only worked with real leather a couple of times. I made some bags for Tula Pink a few years ago, and the handles and the accents were made with actual real leather that Tula sent me. So it was kind of scary working with that real leather because I had only a certain amount, and it wasn't just regular brown leather. It was like iridescent. And I think one of them was pink leather, so I only had what she sent me. It was a little frightening cutting into it, but the bags ended up looking really great, and it was really fun working with real leather for once. All right, some more fun stuff for tonight. I have a book review all about pot holders, and some of them are seasonal. So I thought it was a really fun book, and a few projects caught my eye, so I'm going to step over to the side camera and show you those projects now. All right, so this is the book. It's called Pot Holders for All Seasons, and it's written by Chris Malone. I'm going to try to hold it over here to kind of omit the glare. So there's 20 fun pot holders in here. Most of them are small, but there's a couple larger pot holders in the book as well. All right, so all of the templates are included in the book, and there's some general tips on applique since some of the projects are made using applique. Also, binding is an important aspect of the book. Not all the projects are just straight edge binding. Some of them are curved binding as well. So all of the general instructions are in the beginning of the book, and then there's the 20 projects. So just about every holiday is represented. I'm going to show you most of the projects, and then I'll point out my favorites. Sunny Side Up is one of my favorites. It's this really cute little chicken. And I love that the sort of the loop holders are this red portion of the chicken. I'm actually not sure what that the proper name for that is called. Here's the templates in the middle. Lamb chop is another really cute pot holder. There's another animal right there, a little piglet. Super cute. And some of the pot holders have room to fit your hands, like this one called April Showers. I don't do a ton of applique, but there's one particular project in here that I immediately saw a really fun use for. Catch of the day. Here's another one with sort of large rickrack for the fish scales. And this is one of the largest pot holders. Because it's so long, there's space for you to fit both hands, one hand in each of the pockets. And you can see the bigger photograph of the project here. This is actually pockets to put one each of your hands in there. And there's a really cool one coming up that I'm definitely going to be making for teacher gifts. Oh, this is the one right here, Apple Harvest, where the binding is over here on the inside. That's actually a pocket, so you can actually put your thumb on one side and your hands on the other side to sort of grab at pots. And these projects use insulated batting, so not only are they pretty to look at, but they're also safe as far as holding hot items in. So I can't wait to make this one. I'm going to make it a bunch of times, and I already looked over the instructions, and it's a really simple and super fast project. This is an applique leaf. I was actually I was drawing some notes on the pattern instructions for myself already. I was just planning on stitching this on top by machine before I start assembling the project, but I'm really excited about making that one. I like the fall leaves one as well. And I love the idea of the curved binding. It's just something interesting and a little bit different. Scaredy Cat, I think Violet will probably enjoy making this one with me too. And there's some for Turkey Day, which is coming up in the United States, and a few Christmas projects as well. So these seem really cute overall for fast gifts, seeing as they're holiday themed. And here's one without applique if you're not into applique. And there's also a microwave cozy, which I thought was an interesting idea. You can put it actually in the microwave, and then it says in the instructions, when the food is hot, you can grasp the corners of the pot holder to lift it out. I thought that was pretty clever. And that's the last project in the book. So as you can see, here's some of the projects on the back cover and the rest of the projects on the front cover. This is called Pot Holders for All Seasons, and again, it's written by Chris Malone, and the link is in the description if you're interested in finding out more. So I have a demonstration tonight. It's for sort of like a key fob or a key strap that you can add to any bag while you're assembling the bag. So I went ahead and pulled out my Sloan travel bag, which I made several years ago, to show you kind of like a demonstration of how I used this key holder in a bag. And this is Tim Holtz fabric. I love this matte print, and I actually bought more recently just so I'd have some more in my stash. But this bag actually has a key holder on the inside. Let me see if I can show you this. So it's got elastic in it, and one end attaches to the inside of the bag with a swivel clip and a D-ring, and the other end also has a D-ring. So you can attach your keys to this clip. If you need to unattach the whole clip from the inside of the bag, you can. And it's just long enough so that it's when it's inside the bag, basically any sized bag, you can have your keys attached to the clip and just go ahead and grab your keys while still keeping them clipped to the inside of the bag, which is really handy for always knowing where your keys are, number one. And number two, since you can keep your keys always clipped, it's safe as well, because after you're done opening your door, you can just go ahead and put the keys back in, and they're always safely clipped to the inside of the bag. So let me step over to the side camera and show you how to make and attach this to any bag. Okay, so here is that key portion that I just took out of the Sloan travel bag, and as you can see, it's got some elastic on the inside. So you'll need to cut 2 pieces of fabric to make this project. So the first one is you'll need a small rectangle, and this is for the key tab, which you'll be sewing to the inside of the bag. So I cut my rectangle 4 inches by 2.5 inches, and you'll likely want to put shape flex interfacing on this particular piece. So I went ahead and pressed this. I first pressed it wrong sides together in half, and then I pressed in toward the center crease, kind of like double fold bias tape. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And then after pressing, I top stitched both of the long edges using an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so then you can either use a D-ring, a 1-inch D-ring, or a 3/4 of an inch wide D-ring. Either one will work depending on how snug you want the D-ring on your fabric. So then you'll just slide the D-ring onto the fabric while having it folded in half, and both of the raw edges will be aligned. And then you'll just actually sew this D-ring into one of your lining pieces. So since this will work for any bag, I just went ahead and cut out a portion of the Baker Street bag main panel. So this is either the front or the back of the bag. And you can choose wherever you want the D-ring to be in the bag, if you want it lower or higher. You just want to keep in mind if there's any zippered areas like in the Baker Street bag, you want to keep it well away from that zipper area. So I'm going to have it about halfway down, and I'm just going to sew that in place using an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, and that secures the D-ring. And if you prefer to have a shorter tab, you can as well. This is the length that I have in that Sloan travel bag. Okay, so next you'll need to cut fabric for this portion right here. So I went ahead and cut my fabric 22 inches by 2 3/4 of an inch. So here's my fabric, and then I just went ahead and folded it right sides together so that both of the long edges met. And then I stitched this using a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance from one end to the other. So then you'll need to turn the fabric right side out. And I'm going to use my fast turn tool to do that. So the fast turn tool has 2 pieces. One is a tube. This is a 1/2 inch tube, and then it also comes with a thin wire with a corkscrew on one end. So this corkscrew is what will help us pull the fabric right side out. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this fabric inside the tube, or rather the tube inside the fabric. And then I'm just going to push it all the way to the end so that the tube comes out the other side. And then the corkscrew goes through the tube, and then you just need to twist the corkscrew so that it goes through the fabric. The corkscrew is what grabs the fabric and what will pull through so you can get it right side out. So as you can see, it's really super easy. And then you just need to release that corkscrew. Okay, so next you'll be pressing this so that the seam is in the middle. So the seam won't be on, oh, where's my seam? There you go. So the seam will be right in the middle, just like that. So you'll press that flat. And then I have another piece that I've prepared. So as you can see, that seam is right down the middle, and I also pressed each of the short ends toward the inside by a 1/2 inch so that all of the raw edges would be enclosed on the inside. Okay, so next you'll need a piece of elastic. If you're cutting the fabric the same as what I did for this demonstration, you'll need a piece of elastic that is 16 inches long, and you can either use 1/2 inch wide elastic or 5/8 of an inch. Either one will work. And I'm going to use my bodkin to help me get this through the casing. So I'm going to secure the bodkin to one end, and the bodkin has sort of a metal ring that you just go ahead and push down to lock everything tight in place. And then I'm going to push this through the casing. So I'm just going to go ahead, and I can feel the metal through the fabric, so I'm going to kind of push it along, and then continuing pushing it the rest of the way through. You just want to make sure when you run out of elastic on this end to secure it with something. I'm just going to place a wonder clip on here when I get to the end. All right, there's my wonder clip. You just want to make sure that elastic is at least 1/8 of an inch in, so it's not showing on the right side of the fabric. Okay, so I'm going to pull this bodkin the rest of the way through, and then release the metal ring and place another wonder clip on this end. So you'll take this over to the sewing machine, place a swivel clip on either end, and then you'll fold the end and secure it, stitching about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge of the fabric. So that finishes off this piece. When your bag is all finished, when you've sewn the bag together, whether you're making the Baker Street bag or any other bag, this will work for any bag, you can just go ahead and clip this in the finished bag. One end will clip into the D-ring that's in your lining, and then the other end will clip on to your keys. So you can have any key ring on there, that'll clip right on there. So hope you enjoyed that demonstration, and again, you can use that for nearly any bag that you're making, and keep your keys always at a spot you know, because I use a really small purse, but I'm always having to rifle through and find my keys, and if I had them clipped in a spot that I always knew where they would be, it would save me a lot of time, especially in the dark. Walking to the house in the cold. We had single digits here in Chicago overnight for the last few days, so definitely don't want to be standing outside the front door searching for keys in my bag. All right, if you enjoy our live shows, if you enjoy our sewing tutorial videos or our full-length bag making videos, we'd like to invite you right now to go ahead and, if you're watching on Facebook, to hit the share button. Regardless if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, the like button, which is a picture of a thumbs up, really helps us out so much. Facebook and YouTube look very kindly on videos that have lots of likes and shares, and they consider sharing our videos with other people that have similar interests. So if they've watched perhaps other sewing videos on YouTube in the past, YouTube will consider sharing our videos with them because they may like them, and we always want to bring more people into our bag making community. So thank you so much for doing that. We really appreciate it. All right, we have a giveaway to get to. First, I'm going to announce the winner of last week's giveaway. Then we'll get on to some questions live. So if you have a question for me, let me know in the comments, either bag making related question, sewing related question. If you have a question about a sewing notion or tool, go ahead and ask that in the comments now, and I'll answer as many questions as I can live. The winner of last week's giveaway was Chris Dollery, so congratulations to Chris. I've already contacted Chris via social media. Big congratulations to you, and we have another giveaway at the end of the show. All right, so Danny's going to put some questions up on the screen for me, and I'll answer some of those live right now. Pat says, demo very fast. Is there a tutorial? I actually don't have a tutorial. However, as with all of our live shows, you can watch the videos anytime on Facebook or YouTube. So after tonight or in future, if you'd like to use that tutorial, you can go ahead and look that video up and pause it and restart it. I did mention the measurements that I cut both of those two fabric pieces in the video, so if you want to watch that video at a later date, we'll also be posting this video as a separate tutorial for easy finding when you're doing searching on YouTube especially. Thoughtfully Sewn says, would like to purchase the minikins too for my niece. Can I only do that with a gift card? Anyway, it can be purchased by me, and the PDFs videos listed under her account as a Christmas surprise. I actually saw your video, I saw your email shortly before we started the show. Based on what you said in the email, I know the answer. So your answer will be a little different based on the other information that you gave me in the email. However, in general, we do have gift certificates on the website in different amounts, including an $80 gift certificate, which is the same price as the minikins. So if you're interested in purchasing certain items from our shop, we do have gift certificates available, and I would say that would be the easiest way to give a gift such as the minikins. Deborah says, does the hot ruler come in only one size? So they have the hot ruler, which is the one I showed you, and the hot hammer, which is a little bit different shaped. It's not exactly a rectangle. It has sort of cutouts down the side. I looked at both of those products, and I thought for us, you know, in the way of bag making, the hot ruler would be the most handy, but that's the biggest size that they do have, and that's why I chose that particular one. Would it be possible to get a wish list option on the website? We did actually have a wish list option maybe 1.5 to 2 years ago, and we actually had to take the wish list option down because it was majorly messing up other functions on the website that had nothing to do with the wish list. So unfortunately, we had to take that down. I don't know, maybe we can have some other options, but I know many of you want to give your significant others, loved ones, family and friends, items that you'd like from the Sew Sweetness shop. Maybe we can get something together before the end of the month, but if not, yeah, I'd hate to have the wish list break other shopping experiences for you as far as checking out. I think that's the problem we had previously. It was messing up with people being able to check out, like they actually couldn't check out with their shopping carts before with that wish list. Kay says, what type of elastic did you use in the key fob? So I actually didn't have any regular braided elastic on hand, which is what I would probably normally use. That is actually fold over elastic. It's by Annie's 5/8 of an inch fold over elastic, and in a pinch, that's the only that's the closest one that I could find to the 1/2 inch, which is one I wanted to use for the tutorial. I suppose in a pinch you could use thinner elastic like the 1/4 of an inch, but ideally the 1/2 inch or the 5/8 of an inch would work best, and I do like the braided or the non-roll elastic the best. Jen says, hi Sarah, do you recommend clipping the curves in the Epicure bag? Working on my first one today. It's been a while since I made that particular one. Generally with curves, I do recommend clipping or notching, as would be the case for that Epicure bag, just because it gets your curves to lay nice and flat. If I didn't mention that in the video, I'm sure it's in the pattern. I usually try to be very specific in the patterns when clipping or notching is concerned. Clipping, making little cuts with your scissors, and notching, actually cutting V's out of the curve. And for the Epicure, for the side panels, the notching would be the option that you would use. Diane says, can you do a demo on how to work with zippers on the roll? That's actually on my list for next Sunday, so if you're interested in working with zippers on the roll, adding your zipper heads on there, or just adding a zipper head that's fallen off back onto your zipper teeth, that'll be the demonstration for next Sunday. Pat says, name of the turning tool. Let me grab that one for you real quick. It's called the Fast Turn, all one word, FASTURNE, so they kind of combine the two words to make it one. And the link is in the description if you're interested in this one. It comes in different diameters. Is diameter the correct word, Danny? Okay. This is the 1/2 inch size, is the one that I use the most often. I did actually have a full set of these tools in all of the different sizes, but I found that I was only using the 1/2 inch size, so obviously just buying the one size as opposed to the full set is a lot more economical. Patty says, I just finished the Kennedy bag and several have asked me about the pattern. I'm not seeing it on your website. Is it posted somewhere else? So if you Google Sew Sweetness and then the two words Kennedy bag, it should pop up. It's actually under my tutorials tab on my website since it's a free pattern. We'll actually be filming a video for that this week. We were supposed to do it this past week, but we had a ton of orders, lots more than we normally have, and I was needed as far as answering emails and helping on the customer service end. So we're planning on filming that video this week, and we'll get it posted really quick because Danny's really fast at editing. He's usually maybe an hour or two at editing, and then he's done. So very fast. Helen said, enjoying this live stream on my birthday night. Happy birthday to you, Helen. I hope you had a wonderful day today. Hope you're having a relaxing evening. I hope you did something fun. Got to spend it with family and loved ones. Hope you had a great day today. Gay says, did you ever finish the book you had several months ago called The Girl Who Smiled Beads? Think that was the name, and how was it? So I read a lot of fiction. I was previously, and I'm talking grade school, high school, a super fast reader. Like I would just regularly read a book every day in one day. Sort of slower now just because I'm mostly reading fiction at night at bedtime. But The Girl Who Smiled Beads was excellent. It is about wartime and immigrating to another country and sort of fitting in with people and culture that you're not familiar with. So I thought it was a really awesome book. I love reading mysteries, like murder mysteries, and Danny's like, why do you like to read that kind of stuff? I just do. Historical fiction. Sometimes I like reading lighthearted things like Kristen Hanna, or I don't know. I read a lot of different kinds of things.
Hey, do you like to read the next question up?
Yes, Danny, yes. Connie says, was the quilt pattern you held up a Tula Pink? So it was actually designed by Shabby Fabrics, which is a website that sells sewing kits, fabrics, lots of different things. It's a huge web shop. But it was designed by them, and it's using Tula Pink fabric in the pattern instructions, and in their kits, they have the kits with the same fabrics that I used, in case you're interested in that. Pam says, any idea when the LED light strip will be available again? I apologize, we sold out of those really quick. I ordered some more about a week and a half ago, so they'll be in either at the end of this week or early the following week. So we expect those to be in really quick. And I ordered a huge stock again, so hopefully that'll take us through the holidays. I know a lot of people are waiting for that one for holiday shopping for their other sewing friends. Dina said, I just saw Gina Majig. Can I request a future demo? Looks like it might help with sewing bulk in bags. Gina Majig is a great little tool for sewing over thick layers. As its name says, it's also used for hemming jeans because it helps with that thick hemline, but it's great for bag making as well. I'll write that down. Let me grab a pen. Yeah, I've got a pen handy. I have to write myself notes, otherwise as soon as the show's over, it kind of leaves my mind. Cindy says, what would be the best iron setting for foam interfacing? I usually all the time keep my iron set at the cotton setting, so my iron has different settings for different types of fabrics. I usually always have it set at the cotton setting, and I use that for ironing my quilting cotton, canvas fabric, ironing it on top of my foam interfacing and all my other interfacings. Teresa says, has Violet found a new job yet? Violet is still employed. Is Violet going to be on setting up the show this Tuesday?
Who's Violet?
Violet did not, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty last week. Violet, her job on the Tuesday show is to take care of setting us in with the intro, and she forgot to hit a button, so it kind of got a little bit off track, but yeah, Violet's fine. She'll be here again on Tuesday. Casey says, pinking shears just don't do it for me, and it takes a minute to notch. Yeah,
I'm making comments about pinking shears.
Oh, okay. I know pinking shears are a great option for notching, but I'm also some things I'm in a terrible habit of doing it in a certain way, which is oftentimes slower, and notching with just regular scissors is one of those habits. What is the zipper pull cord on spools or different colors called? Zipper pull cord on spools. Zippers by the yard, is that what you're talking about? Sometimes my brain has a little bit of trouble catching up, but I think that's what you're asking. Pat says, what 4 patterns will be in the new 4-pack video bundle? Yeah, I think on our last show, we had a little bit of a glitch on Facebook. Danny's nodding, so I think that's the case. And when I was talking about which 4 patterns would be in the next 4-pack video bundle, that's at the end of January, so not anytime soon. But I'm thinking of, and I haven't confirmed my list, but I'm thinking of the Aragon bag, the Reason to bag, which I've had a lot of requests for that one also. I'm hoping to come out with a new pattern for that bundle for a sling backpack, which is a backpack with just one strap, which you can wear either across your body or just have the one strap on the backpack. And someone sent me an email regarding a knitting bag, like a travel knitting bag or crochet bag, which I thought it was a really cool idea. So I might throw that one as the 4th one, but I haven't confirmed anything yet. So those are just some thoughts and what I'm thinking of, but I'm hoping to get that sling backpack in there. Mirta says, are we allowed to make the Hobo bag for my sewing class? I'm getting ready to start on my mother-daughter projects. It's a free pattern. Yes, absolutely. I would love it if you teach my patterns, especially a free one, just because then that'll keep the costs down for your students. If you could just let them know that I designed the pattern, just in case they're interested in finding more. Of course, I know you will. But yeah, we really appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for using one of my patterns in your class. I really appreciate it. Sarah, please do a roll handle tutorial. Oh, good idea. I'll write that one down too, rolled handle. So in the past, I've done rolled handles without like cording in them, but I was thinking of if I did a tutorial, maybe have a handle, like a rolled handle, like in the Sublime bag.
Sarah, did you answer that Lady Light question about when it's back in stock?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So here's a rolled handle with no cording in it, so it's more of a flat handle, but still a rolled handle because it's folded over. And I was thinking if I did a tutorial like that, I'll probably do this as well as showing what to do if you're having like a more rounder rolled handle with like actual cording on the inside. And put this one back up. I organized my sewing room yesterday too when I finished that mini quilt, and it feels really good not to have tons of stuff on the floor behind me. Diana says, when will you have black cork back in stock? We should have that back in stock tomorrow. We'll be able to list that back in stock tomorrow. We have it here, we just haven't been able to cut it, and we always want to make sure to have our packages go out really quickly, and so we've got to just cut some of that black cork, and then I'll relist it back in stock. Nikki says, when will Minikins 2 templates be available? Those have not shipped out to us yet. If they ship out, I know Robin's watching, so Robin, don't rush Ed, but if they ship out early this week, we might have them by the end of the week. We do For anything that's out of stock on the website, we do have an out of stock notification, which means that you can enter your email address on any product listing of an out of stock item, and then you'll be automatically notified when that item goes in stock, like the Minikin Season 2 templates. So that option is on the website. I apologize, we hate having things out of stock, but sometimes it happens. But we do have that feature in case you'd like to take advantage of it. Nancy says, have you ever seen fabric that looks like the old checkout cards from libraries? Yes. The fabric is designed by Heather from Crimson Tate. The fabric line name is escaping me right now. Maybe I'll try to get some and I'll show you on Sewcial Sunday. It's really good. She makes like library themed fabric. She also has some for like letter writing, so lots of fun themes in the fabrics. Michelle says, last reminder, you have until 11:59 Eastern time to sign up for the Secret Santa. Michelle, I forgot. I promised Michelle that I would post a link in the reminder in the description, and I clearly forgot. But thank you, Michelle, for reminding me yet again what Secret Santa is all about in case you missed it. But the Secret Santa swap closes tonight, so in a few hours. You have a few hours left to sign up. And then the deadline for making your project is, I believe, December 1st, but all of the information is in, we have an event posted in the Sew Sweetness group for the global Secret Santa swap. Basically, you make a pouch out of Sew Sweetness pattern, and there's a list of patterns that you can use in the group. So you just make one pouch. You will be assigned a partner, and you will send the pouch to your partner, and you can choose to only ship within your own country if you prefer to do that, or you can ship worldwide if you'd like to as well. So you send one pouch, and you can send some extra little goodies in there, up to $10 if you'd like to as well. And everyone will receive a pouch in the mail, and it's a great opportunity to make some new sewing friends as well. So I'm participating as well. I'm really excited about the swap, and I am very self-conscious about my sewn projects, so I'm going to try to keep that under control, because it's scary sewing a gift for somebody else, especially somebody else who I likely have not met in person yet. So that terrifies me, but I'm like, you know what, Sarah, you got to suck it up, and you know, it'll be fine. Nobody sees the mistakes that you do. I'm sure the pouch will look lovely. I just got to keep my thoughts under control. Gwen says, so are you still holding in your core muscles and sitting straight? I'm not. You can probably see that my shoulders are, I'm not. It's hard to think about my Sewcial Sunday outline and keep my tummy tucked in and my shoulders back. It's like walking and chewing gum at the same time. So I'm going to try to do better, Karen, for next time, I promise. But let's get over to the giveaway for this week. So the giveaway is actually partially contributed to by a viewer. So Amanda Parks sent me this jelly roll with, since in the United States Veterans Day is tomorrow, and I believe Remembrance Day, I saw in the comments before the show, Remembrance Day in other parts of the world. So here's sort of a patriotic jelly roll bundle with some nice red, white, and blue fabrics. And then the second half of the giveaway is 8 yards of fabric designed by Geiko Goke. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So let me show you the fabrics really quick. These are brand new fabrics from Free Spirit Fabrics, and they're all sort of, it reminds me of pastels or chalks. So really fun prints in lots of bright colors. So here's all the fabrics. They're all 1 yard pieces, which is plenty of fabric to make a bag. Exterior and lining fabric, and actually make several bags, in fact. And if you like this fabric, the link is also in the description in case you're interested in picking up a print or two. But all you have to do to enter this giveaway is answer my giveaway question in the comments, either on Facebook or YouTube, by the end of the day this Saturday, and I'll announce the winner on next week's episode of Sewcial Sunday. And all you have to do is answer this question in the comments, and the question is, what is your favorite iron as far as using it in the sewing room? So just answer that in the comments, and you'll be entered to win. That's it for this week's episode of Sewcial Sunday. I hope you had a great time. I loved sharing all these projects and notions and fabrics with you. I'll see you again next Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Have a great week and happy sewing. Bye, everybody.